like most people, I would at least hope that we're all on the same page when it comes to Liz Truss, that we would just hope she would just go away and just fade into obscurity. And hopefully, even the rest of the Tory party would adopt that attitude, that they would just say, "No, we don't really want anything to do with you, Liz Truss, anymore. Just, just go sit in the corner. You'll be fine. Just sit there, and eventually, we'll just push her away." But as you may well know, we've covered Liz Truss's continuous insistence that her ideas and her policy and her mini budget that she wanted to put forward were the right thing to do, they were correct thing to do, and that really it was this anti-growth coalition and these anti-growth people and the blob who really were the ones responsible for taking her down and ultimately dooming her very short-lived premiership, when in reality it was not that simple. But one of the things that I am happy this honours list might actually do, and once again reignite in people's conversation and really thinking about in sort of UK politics, is after we saw Boris Johnson's resignation honours list, a list of over 40 people, and of course giving us the youngest life peer ever to sit in the House of Lords, someone who will be now a permanent fixture of our democracy. They need to really seriously think about reforming the House of Lords. And I would hope that this list, when it sees the light of day, which apparently it is already being reviewed by the Honours Committee, so I would hope that once again this restarts the conversation about reforming the House of Lords, because it is something that drastically needs to be reformed. And we have seen that Labour are talking about reforming the House of Lords. That's one thing we would like to see. And we need to go further than this. We need to go a lot further than Tony Blair did. Tony Blair initially said he was going to go and reform the House of Lords, but all he ended up doing was cutting the lifetime peers, and it wasn't far enough. It wasn't really good enough, because now that we've seen a couple of Conservative prime ministers, the number of lifetime peerages has risen again. So you can't reform the House of Lords by half measures, and that's not to say just the lifetime appointments and those peerages that are there. You've also got the fact that there are bishops who sit in the House of Lords as well continuously. It is something that really needs to go. It is long past its sell-by date, and we need to just get rid of it. And as I've said before, we need to turn it into a house of certainly that is elected, I said strongly by PR, and it's a house of regional representatives. So every area gets a certain number of seats. Make sure it's all the same, so no region is sort of stronger than the other. Although you could make the argument that maybe the seats in the north maybe should have more say, but that's a conversation for a different time. But there are a number of ideas that we said before. Most of them do revolve around PR, and I think Labour would win a lot of support if they really were to commit to seriously reforming the House of Lords. I really think it would. And certainly this honours list that Liz Truss is going to release, that is very much the case of where this could once again reignite this conversation about the House of Lords. So before we go talking about at least some of the rumours and some of the names that are apparently on Liz Truss's honours list, please do remember to click on the House. Please remember, click on the House of Lords. Remember, click on the share, and of course the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. There is the YouTube thank you button, and of course the Pony Club down below as well, which can all help support the channel. And like I say, thank you very much to everyone who does help and support the channel. So once again, Liz Truss, since her very disastrous premiership, has been absolutely out there non-stop saying what I was doing was the right thing to do, espousing her message of her free market fundamentalist policies, which we've all seen, looking at disaster after disaster of what would have potentially happened. And of course, it wasn't just the fact that her policies, or at least her mini budget policies, were crashing the economy, it came close to bankrupting a lot of pensions companies. And as we've said before, these pension companies, especially in the UK, are heavily invested into a lot of different companies here in the UK. So if they had gone bankrupt, they would have had to call in all their debts. And if they are calling in all their debts, remembering this isn't a post-pandemic world, we've got a lot of companies who, to get through the pandemic, spent a lot of their resources and their war chests. So we're already very, very short on money and funds. Well, now these pension companies come calling for their money to sort of shore themselves up. The entire economy risks going into absolutely catastrophic failure. This is why Liz Truss wasn't just bad; it was an absolute catastrophic nightmare that she almost unleashed. And that's what a lot of people really don't understand and talk about, because it would have been an absolute economic nightmare for the UK. You think things are bad now. If the Bank of England generally hadn't stepped in, we would be in who knows what kind of economic mess caused by Liz Truss. So the idea that people would be honored by Liz Truss, most of them who worked with her, is, to be honest, really, really shocking. And one of the fun things about this, again, according to The Guardian, is at least 2 people have already refused honors from her. One apparently saying that they felt so embarrassed by being on this honors list that they didn't want to even accept it. And this is something I think we should actually look at working at, and maybe even start a campaign around, to, even if Truss's list goes forward, we could work into it into such a way that anyone who's on this list gets known forever as being like we could call it like the list of humiliation, and that they are the list of failures, so it dogs them for the rest of their life. You know, you were honored by Liz Truss. Point and laugh. Um, it would be amazing to get to a state where maybe all these people on the list just refuse their honors. Now, of course, there will be a few, and hey, point and laugh. You were honored by Liz Truss. What a failure you must be. That would be, of course, fantastic to see if we could get that. But we're just going to go through some of the people who are suspected to be on this list. It's not surprising who's on this list at all. But we'll just pop over to the Guardian and see what they had to say on this. Um, so this is what is fun about this. So at least 2 people have reportedly turned down the honours from Liz Truss, with one apparently being too humiliated to accept a nomination from the UK's shortest-serving Prime Minister. And yeah, I would be as well. I would absolutely be humiliated if I was honoured in that way. Liz Truss's 14-strong list, which equates to an honour for every 3.5 days of a 49-day tenure, is said to be currently being vetted by the House of Lords Appointments Committee. The Southwest Norfolk MP, who replaced Boris Johnson in Downing Street last September, had notified at least 4 people for life peerages and 12 for honours, including knighthoods, damehoods, and OBEs. And according to the Times, one source told the newspaper that they felt it would be humiliating to receive an honour from Liz Truss, while another aide said that they did not deserve it. So there's already generally a sense of attitude that's coming out that if you do not deserve this honor, and that it should be absolutely humiliating to receive one from Truss. So this is something we need to really focus on getting out there. That if we did run that type of campaign, it might just get shut down completely, but we'll see. But nominated for life peers are reportedly to include Sir John Moynihan, Conservative Party donor, Matthew Elliott, who ran the Brexit campaign in 2016, Ruth Porter, Truss's Deputy Chief of Staff in Number 10. Another life peer is understood to be Mark Littlewood, the outgoing head of the Institute of Economic Affairs, a think tank that had supported her mini budget. And that is someone you should never, ever let into the House of Lords. Just him alone, the fact that he's worked for this think tank, meaning that this guy would go from lobbying our politicians to actually being in a position of permanent political power in our democracy is something we should be very, very, very concerned about. And if this does go ahead, we should once again be highlighting just how bad this honours and peerage system is, but also just how bad the House of Lords is and how badly it needs to be reformed. And this is such an easy win. This is such an easy, easy win. And I really, really do hope Labour go the distance on this. They really, really need to go the distance on this. Just complete, go and fully commit to complete reform. It will be an easy win. It will gain them a lot of votes because it's even very popular in, conservative voters reforming the House of Lords. Surprisingly very popular, but there you go. But like I say, reforming it into an elected system run by PR would be very, very popular. I think it would gain a lot of votes, and I think it would gain Starmer a lot of street cred. And of course, then, he would get the people, he would get the amount of MPs he needs to be able to sort of pass this through very easily. And even if the Lords try in some way to resist, it was in his manifesto. MPs have voted it through. Why are you stopping this going through? If you stop this going through, we'll just active parliament it through and we'll just get rid of you that way. Hey, but that's a different conversation for another time. But yeah, Liz Truss's honours list. Talk about a list of humiliation. I am glad that even from what we can see, there are people who do really feel that these people don't deserve it, and how humiliated these people should really feel if they do genuinely go on and accept an honours from Liz Truss, especially someone like Mark Littlewood, who is the outgoing person of the Institute of Economic Affairs, should never ever be allowed any type of permanent political power he would gain. It's very dangerous. It undermines our democracy so, so much. And it's about time we got rid of the House of Lords once and for all. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.